Now we're going to talk about subtracting integers. Again, you may think, oh, I've been subtracting since I was like 6 years old. That's true, but dealing with negative numbers creates a new level of complexity and, of course, fun to the game. Millie has $40 in her bank account. So we'll just start Millie over here at $40 because that's how much is in her account. She spends $20 on shoes. So we have to subtract 20. Now her total is down to $20. Minus $20 because of shoes. Then she spends $19 on a movie. So 20 minus 19. You notice these go by twos, so I'll need to put it in between these two right here. So she's down to $1 in her account. But then, she has only $1 in her account, and yet she spends $5 on coffee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's now at negative $4. So she has negative $4 in her account, which typically that can't happen, but we're doing a math lesson, so we'll do what we want to do. So let's solve the same problem using numbers. She started with $40, but then we have to subtract 20 from it, subtract 19 from it, subtract 5 from it. If you remember the order of operations, you have to move from left to right as you move across these numbers. So I have to do 40 minus 20 first. I do 20 minus 19 next. And then 1 minus 5 turns out to be negative $4. So I get the answer either way, with a number line or with numbers. But let's talk about the rules, because I think plenty of you could look at 1 minus 5 and you jump to this, and others of you wouldn't, and that's okay. That's why we're doing this lesson. So it turns out subtracting is actually the same as adding the opposite. That may sound weird, but here's what I mean. Right here, I subtracted $5. That'd be the same thing as saying, okay, I have $1 in my account, but I'm going to add a charge of $5 to it. It's negative 5 because it's a charge. And just like 1 minus a positive 5 is negative 4, 1 plus a negative 5 is also negative 4. So you can get the correct answer by subtracting a positive or adding a negative. So this method I'm about to show you, keep, change, change. Let's go ahead and write that part. I know some teachers use the word flip for one of the words change. That's fine. It doesn't matter. The meaning behind them is the same. So if you say keep, change, flip, that's no problem. Keep, change, change. This is always what you use for subtraction. Do not try to use this for addition. This is the subtraction lesson, so only use it for subtracting. The keep means keep the first number the same. If I write too fast, feel free to hit pause so you can copy it once I finish. So don't change the first number. But then you do need to change the subtraction to addition. So change the subtraction sign to addition. And lastly, you change the sign, or some people say flip the sign, and that's okay. Change the sign of the second number. So if the second number is positive, make it negative. If the second number is negative, make it positive. So keep, change, change. So let's practice that out on these questions. So keep, change, change. Keep the 8 just the way it is. Right now, the original problem says 8 minus positive 9. We're going to change that minus to a plus and change that positive 9 to a negative 9. We'll find the solution in just a second. I want to go ahead and practice the same thing with number 2 with keep, change, change. Then we'll solve them both. So keep we keep the negative 8 just as it is. We keep the first number the same. We change the subtraction sign to addition. And in this case, it's a positive 9, so we change it to a negative 9. Now, the benefit of doing keep, change is it changes us from a subtraction problem to an addition problem. And we have rules for addition that we learned in the previous lesson. So let's use those addition rules right now. Right here, I'm adding numbers with different signs. We have a positive 8 and a negative 9. So the rule is to subtract 9 minus 8, which is 1, and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is 9, so the answer is negative 1. So we're applying the same addition rules as we did yesterday after we apply keep, change. Because keep, change's job, one of its jobs, is to change it from a subtraction problem to an addition problem. Over here, we're adding the same signs, negative and negative. So we add 8 and 9 together, and we keep the sign that they both have, which is a negative. So let's try working this one all the way through. We keep the 8 and 8, change the minus to a plus, change the negative 9 to a positive 9. And that's a question you get a long time ago in your life. 8 plus 9 is 17. It's just what you didn't know is 8 plus 9 is asking the same question as 8 minus negative 9. Because it turns out when two negatives or a minus and a negative are back to back, the change just turns them both into positives. Same on number 4. We keep negative 8 just as it is. We change the subtraction to addition, change the negative 9 to a positive 9. So we've switched to an addition problem, so we use the addition rules. We're adding two different signs this time. So we subtract 9 minus 8 and get 1. And we keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 9, so we have a positive 1. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster. You can see these are all similar again, but you're welcome to pause or re-listen if you need to. We keep negative 12. I change the minus to a plus, change the positive 3 to a negative 3. I'm adding two numbers that have the same sign. They're both negative. So I do 12 plus 3 and keep it negative. Because when you have the same signs, you add and keep the sign. Here we keep the 12, change subtraction to addition, change the negative 3 to a positive 3. So we're adding the same signs, positive 12, positive 3. So the answer is positive 15. Now I know number 7 you could do without keep, change. On a quiz or test, you are welcome to do it just the normal way. But for the sake of practicing the method, I'm going to do it with keep, change. So we keep 12 the same. We change the minus to plus. And we change it from a positive 3 to a negative 3. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning. Subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So subtracting 3 is the same thing as adding negative 3. So now we're adding different signs. So when we're adding different signs, our rule is to subtract 12 minus 3 and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the positive 12. Last one. We keep the negative 12. We change the subtraction to addition. We change the negative 3 to a positive 3. Since we're adding different signs, the rule is to subtract the two numbers, 12 minus 3 is 9, and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 12, so we have our answer as a negative 9. So you've got to remember, keep, change, and then use the addition rules. But you also got to remember, keep, change only applies to subtraction problems.